In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace your front brake caliper on this Ford E-350. Located right behind your front wheel, so let's get started. If your wheel has a hubcap, remove it with a pry bar on the edge here. Just be sure not to pry too far on the edge. You want to push it in a little bit, otherwise it could break. Use a 22mm socket to remove all 8 lug nuts and then pull the wheel off. And remove the wheel. Use a 21mm socket, remove the 2 mounting bolts that hold the caliper and bracket assembly onto the knuckle. With this one out, leave it in a couple threads. That lower one will hold the caliper while you remove the top one. Now you can remove the bottom as well. Take the caliper and just set it up right on top of the upper ball joint here. On the new caliper, where the anti-rattle clips go, apply a thin layer of silicone paste or brake grease if that's what you have. If you are using silicone paste, make sure it's rated for brakes for high temperatures, otherwise it will melt right away, get on your brakes, and that's not what you want. Once you've done that, take the new anti-rattle clips and clip them right on. Make sure that the larger hook faces towards the outside where the rotor will not be. The rotor goes on the center here. Sometimes you may need to stick a little screwdriver in here to pry out on these tabs. If they're too tight, or maybe this is slippery, just help it out by prying it, but don't do it too much because you can easily bend this and then it won't hook on properly. What we also need to do is remove the slider pin so we can add some grease. There is a little bit, but nowhere near enough. I'm going to take a little bit of that same silicone paste or brake grease if that's what you're using and add it to the inside of the boot right in the folds here. This is going to allow the pin to stay lubricated as it operates over time and the brakes wear out. You also want to apply a thin layer to the pin, but you can't put too much because if you do, it'll just get wiped off when you try to stick it in here. And once you're done with that, slide the pin right through. If there's any air stuck in it, like right here, it's trying to push it out, keep the pin squeezed in with a little pocket screwdriver, peel up the boot, and there you have it. Air is gone. Any excess grease will just come out as you squeeze it. Give it a few twists. What I'm also going to do is make sure that some grease makes its way right here too. It looks like there is already, so that's perfect. Now you want to do the same thing to the pin and the anti-rattle clips to the other side of the caliper. Now take the bracket that you've prepped and line it up. Start in the bolts. Snug them both up. The torque on these is 195 foot-pounds. From the old caliper, we have to remove the pads. Simply slide them out towards the center. There's one. And the second. To put these on, slide them in at an angle on the top and bottom anti-rattle clips and twist them in place. They should move freely. Do the same to the outer one. Just like that. Take the caliper, slide it over the pads and the pins. Have your 2 bolts ready. Start them on. Use a 12mm socket to bottom these out. 27 foot-pounds is the torque for both of these bolts. Remove the banjo bolt with the 2 new washers from the new caliper. Leave one of the washers on. Now over a collection bucket, use a 14mm wrench or socket. Break free the banjo bolt on the old caliper. Remove it the rest of the way and make sure all of your brake fluid falls down in the collection bucket. There we go. Make sure neither of the copper washers stuck to the hose. Slide in the new banjo bolt with 1 new copper washer and put the other copper washer on the other side of that banjo bolt. Start all of this into the caliper. Use that same 14mm socket to snug this up and bottom it out so it stops leaking. Torque this to 30 foot-pounds. That's it right there. Now pop off the bleeder screw cap so we can open this up and let gravity pull the fluid into the caliper and push the air out. So, there we go. Use a 3/8 wrench, open this up. This is going to allow, like I said, gravity to push all of the air out of our caliper. We're going to wait until there's a steady trickle of fluid coming out of the bleeder screw. Now you might still need to perform a manual brake bleed after this procedure, but the gravity bleed should get most, if not all, of the air out of the system. You will see how to do the manual brake bleed at the end of the video. There's our steady trickle of fluid. Now we're just going to wait a few seconds and move the bleeder screw around just to make sure no air was trapped behind it. This looks good to me, so I'm going to close it off. Once again, if after this you think you need to do a full brake bleed, go ahead and do that. Snug it up. Clean off any drippage with some brake parts cleaner. And don't forget to cap off the bleeder screw so it doesn't get clogged up with debris. Now pump up the brake pedal. Let's top off the master cylinder. Let's put the wheel back on. Put back all 8 lug nuts, snug them up in a cross pattern to seat that wheel, and then also in a cross pattern we're going to torque these to 148 foot-pounds. – 148 foot-pounds in a cross pattern. Here we go. Double check them if you want. There you have it. Now install the hubcaps if your vehicle had some. And when you do this, you want to make sure that you line up this cutout here with the valve stem. Open the hood and you'll see that on the driver's side, right next to the coolant overflow, you'll have your brake master cylinder reservoir. If it has a lot of debris on it, wipe it down. Mine's a little bit dirty, but it's also very stained. So this isn't really dust that's going to fall into it. Open up the cap. If you look closely at the cap, you'll see that it says to use .3 brake fluid. I know this one's kind of dirty, but you should be able to see it on yours. I have a vacuum pump with a collection receptacle on it, and what I'm going to use this for is to remove the old fluid that's in the reservoir. If you have anything else that's going to remove this brake fluid, go ahead and use that. Just remove as much as you can out of this reservoir. Okay, that's as much as I'm going to get out of it, so I'll stop right there. Now take some new .3 brake fluid and fill up the reservoir. That's full right there, up to the max line. Let's cap it off. We are now ready to start the bleeding sequence on this van, and the first wheel you want to start at is the right rear. After you've bled that one, go to the left rear, do the same thing. Now that we've done the rear axle, top off that master cylinder to make sure it stays plenty full. Then you go to the right front, you bleed that caliper, and then lastly the left front. Top off that master cylinder again since you've bled another 2 calipers, and then check the pedal. Make sure it's nice and firm when you pump it up with the engine off. If you're unhappy with how the pedal feels or you think you have more air left in the system, repeat the bleed in the same sequence until you are satisfied with the bleed. Now this is the right rear caliper. We're gonna have an assistant in the vehicle ready to pump up that brake pedal and create pressure in the system. After they do that, they're gonna hold the pedal so that pressure is applied, and then I will break the bleeder screw free to release any air. Go ahead and pump. All right, they're holding pressure. I have a little hose that is attached to a collection receptacle so I don't spill fluid anywhere. Using a 10mm wrench, open up that bleeder screw. There we go, we got some air. Pedal hit the floor, go ahead and pump again. We're just gonna repeat this process until there's no more air coming out of the bleeder screw. Okay, holding pressure. Okay, hit the floor, go ahead and pump again. All right, open it up. Hit the floor, go ahead and pump again. This one was clean, so we'll do it one more time. All right, Oh, I got an air bubble. Go ahead and pump again. All right, this is clean. Go ahead and pump again. Perfect. You can let go of the brake pedal now. I had 3 clean bleeds in a row, nice fresh fluid, so this is all set. I'm going to wipe off any remaining brake fluid here. You can use some brake parts cleaner and spray this down. And of course, if you had the little rubber cap, go ahead and plug up the bleeder screw so it doesn't get clogged up. Now we're going to do the same thing to the left side rear, then we'll top off the master cylinder and move to the front. I topped off the master cylinder and I'm at the right front caliper, so we're going to bleed this one. Go ahead and pump. Okay, holding pressure. This is a 3/8 bleeder screw now, so we'll get that wrench on there, open it up. Floor. All right, hit the floor, go ahead and pump again. All right, pump again. Holding. Floor. Perfect. You can let go of the brake pedal. We had several nice clean bleeds in a row here, fresh fluid. So once again, wipe all of this off. If you had brake fluid dripping down the caliper, use brake parts cleaner to rinse that off. And the last caliper in this sequence is going to be the left front caliper, so go ahead and bleed that one. With everything done, top off the master cylinder one last time. Make sure it's full all the way up to that max line. You can see that on the side of the master. And of course, cap it off. Now, if you're unhappy with how the brake pedal feels and you think you need to bleed again, do it in the same exact sequence, all 4 wheels, or all 4 calipers, I should say, until you are satisfied. Then top it off once again and put the wheels back on. 148 foot-pounds in a cross pattern. Take it for a road test.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.